Albert Breer joins us on the Wise Heart Right. We make it right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. What's up, buddy? Welcome back.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, we're living the dream over here. So it's
the annual release of the NFL Top 100 Players list always generates intense debate, but this year's rankings have produced one of the most baffling anomalies in recent memory. Lamar Jackson, a multiple-time league MVP and one of the most dynamic playmakers in modern football history, found himself ranked at an astonishingly low position. To understand how such a disconnect occurs, it is helpful to look back at the origins of the list itself. NFL insider Albert Breer, who was working at the NFL Network when the show was first conceived during the league lockout, reveals that the entire program was initially created simply to fill a massive content void on television. Over the
last two Super Bowl winners are Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts, not seen as franchise-level guys. Are the days of needing a top 5 quarterback to win a title completely over, or do you think the last 2 years are more of an anomaly?
The voting process has remained somewhat of a mystery to casual fans, but the reality of how players vote explains a lot of these strange outcomes. Players are typically asked only to submit their personal top ballots, which are then aggregated to compile the entire top list. This means that if a superstar quarterback like Jackson misses time due to injury or has a slightly quieter season by his own historic standards, he can easily slide off many players' top ballots entirely. A low drop does not suggest.
Again, it's usually really good for bonding too. It's generally something where teammates get together and get a lot of that out of it from that perspective. Jaden Daniels did it in April with the Commanders.
That his peers no longer view him as an elite talent. Rather, it indicates he simply fell out of their immediate consideration, even though they still widely recognize him as a dominant force who remains one of the absolute hardest matchups in professional sports. While Jackson's ranking raised eyebrows, the ongoing debate around Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow has sparked its own set of fascinating questions among league executives and fans alike. In a recent poll conducted among NFL executives, Burrow was ranked as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, a lofty status that has drawn scrutiny from critics pointing out that he has not won a postseason game in several years. However, as Breer points out, a deeper analysis of Burrow's situation reveals that his recent lack of playoff success is a product of unfortunate injuries rather than on-field failure. When Burrow has been healthy enough to play in the postseason, his track record is nearly unmatched, having led the Bengals to a Super Bowl appearance in his sophomore season and an AFC Championship game the following year. Front offices and coaches look past the raw, context-free numbers because they recognize his supreme elite.
Well, I guess you're hoping it's Jared first, right? I think, look, I know a lot of people looked at it and saw that as
mental processing, often comparing his mental command of the game to legendary figures like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Within the scouting community, there is a clear consensus that the league features a distinct tier of elite quarterbacks who stand head and shoulders above the rest, with Burrow firmly established among them. For Burrow, the path to maintaining his spot in this...
We're trying to replace Myles Garrett on the Billboard, right? When it comes to the defense, there's one guy, and they've had a lot of good defensive players around him, but if you're putting one defensive player on the Billboard to get people excited about the Browns, it was Myles Garrett. There doesn't seem to...
Exclusive club is simple. He must prove he can stay healthy and on the field, because when he is active, his impact on the game is undeniable. This quarterback hierarchy ties directly back to a core philosophy that has driven franchise building in the NFL for the past several years, particularly in Cleveland. When the Browns made their block...
The Bills had a funky year, and they lost in the divisional round and they scored 33 points in the game. So the door, I think, in the AFC last year was open more than a problem.
Trade for Deshaun Watson. The underlying premise was that in order to win a Super Bowl, a franchise must possess a true elite top quarterback. The prevailing belief was that a team simply could not win a championship with a solid but limited signal caller, prompting the organization to make a massive financial and draft capital investment to secure Watson. However, the last few seasons have challenged this traditional line of thinking, as the most recent Super Bowl champions were led by quarterbacks who are not universally classified in that elite top tier.
I could come up with, because I've never felt like there was, I put it this way, I'd say there were probably more coaches and front office people who weren't as high on Lamar Jackson than players because he doesn't fit every scheme. but he's always been really hard to play against.
So I guess, Albert,
This sudden shift has led many to wonder if the era of needing a superstar quarterback to win a title is over, but Breer suggests that context and conference dynamics are everything. The AFC remains an absolute gauntlet populated by elite passers, meaning the price of admission just to reach the postseason in that conference is significantly higher than in the NFC. While injuries to elite AFC passers and temporary down years for top teams opened a rare window of opportunity for other franchises to capitalize, the reality is that having a dynamic, franchise-altering quarterback remains the safest and most logical path to sustain championship contention. While the quarterback
Burrow eventually have to stay healthy to maintain his place on these lists, yes, he does. But, I think when he's been out there, he's been pretty damn good, which is, I think what the voters are recognizing.
Albert, it's interesting. When the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, it was under the thought of you can't win a Super Bowl with a guy like Baker Mayfield.
Back position dominates the headlines. The defensive side of the ball in Cleveland is celebrating the rapid rise of sophomore linebacker Carson Schwesinger, who was recently ranked as one of the best off-ball linebackers in the NFL. To receive such a high honor after only 1 year in the league is a testament to Schwesinger's phenomenal instincts and processing speed. Analysts have quickly drawn comparisons between the young defender and former Defensive Player of the Year Luke Kuechly, noting striking similarities in how they diagnose plays before they even unfold. Breer recalls hearing whispers from scouts prior to the draft, who admitted it was almost impossible to evaluate other players on the college defense because Schwesinger was seemingly involved in making literally every single tackle on the field. This rare combination of elite diagnostic ability, non-stop motor, and modern athleticism has transformed him into the centerpiece of the Browns' defense. When
Jackson being voted as the 69th best player in the NFL, that feels more of like an indictment on his popularity with other players than it does him as a player. Am I off on that?
I mean, I don't know. I was there at NFL Network.
Putting together his own All-Pro ballot, Breer considered Schwesinger as a premier candidate, emphasizing that the league's top coaches and scouts already view the young linebacker as one of the most impactful defenders in the entire sport, capable of anchoring a championship-caliber unit for the long term. Looking to the future, the Browns face the challenging task of finding a new defensive face to replace Myles Garrett on the team's iconic promotional billboards.
You got bigger problems than scheduling. If that's allowed to happen, and you've got drama over that.
While Schwesinger and other defensive tackle prospects are exceptional foundational pieces, the premier candidate to step into that spotlight is edge rusher Jared Verse. Verse possesses the unique, game-wrecking potential that drawing comparisons to Terrell Suggs brings, showing the ability to dominate games from the premium edge rushing position and become one of the top.
What conference are Sam Darnold and
Jalen Hurts.
Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts in? They're in the NFC, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the Browns' premise was a little bit more on,
players in the league. Outside of their defensive identity, the Browns must also navigate the delicate chemistry of their offensive locker room during the final weeks of the offseason. With rumors swirling about Deshaun Watson hosting a private passing camp in South Florida, questions of quarterback etiquette have naturally arisen regarding how he and Shedeur Sanders will manage their offseason workouts with the team's wide receivers. In a competitive quarterback room, hosting separate, competing camps would be a recipe for scheduling.
And then it gets pulled together and you're voting, and the top 100 comes out of lists of top 20, which tells me that Lamar Jackson a year ago was in probably almost everybody's top 20 and got left off of a lot of lists this year, which doesn't mean those players don't think he's top 30 or top 40.
Chaos and unnecessary division among the coaching staff and players. The established protocol in the NFL is for the veteran leader to organize a unified session, inviting the younger quarterbacks to participate together to foster bonding and timing. This cooperative approach, mirrored by league leaders in other states, is vital for building the cohesive, distraction-free environment the Browns need to navigate the challenging season ahead.